Hey everybody, I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. And today I'm going to talk about why Gen Xers as a rule, why we sort of hope for an apocalypse. And I'm not talking about every single Gen Xer. I think that's pretty obvious when I talk about groups of people, especially Gen X, which I talk about mostly. I'm not talking about every single Gen Xer. I know that there are Gen Xers out there who wouldn't kind of hope for an apocalypse. Even having said that, I'll still get people in the comments who will accuse me of speaking for every single Gen Xer on the planet and call me crazy and stuff. But anyway, I've been thinking about this, and me personally, and I would like to hear from you in the comments and tell me if I'm making any sense here or not. But me personally, one reason is because it would be a reset, back to the basics, you know? Like when I have a problem with my computer, or it just gets aggravating or whatever, you know, stuff, multiple small problems. My computer starts irritating me. I have a habit of just completely wiping the hard drive and installing a fresh operating system. I've done it throughout my life. If it gets too irritating, I would just completely wipe the hard drive and start again fresh from the beginning. And that mindset, that starting fresh from the beginning mindset, I think plays into the whole apocalypse thing, right? When shit gets too irritating, too frustrating, just wipe the slate clean, start again fresh, let's redo it. I don't want to keep, struggling through the mud and the muck and just wasting time and energy on shit that is pointless and useless. It's gone too far. The time to fix the thing, it's not proportional anymore. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to take the time or to spend inordinate amounts of time trying to fix it, only to realize that it is irreparably broken. It can't be fixed. So that's just kind of where my mind is, and that's where my mind is with society, the institutions, the governments, the economy, the corporate structure, with monopolistic behaviors and huge conglomerates running the world. So yeah, I don't think that this stuff can be fixed. I really don't. So I would welcome some kind of reset, and not just a social reset like the elites talk about, because there's a difference. Their reset is they want to reset humanity and get us in 15-minute cities with digital ID and all this kind of shit, right? These vaccines and all this stuff. That's not the kind of reset I'm talking about. I'm talking about a structural reset, a physical reset through some form of apocalypse. And the apocalypse doesn't have to be violent. Not necessarily saying that I want, a bunch of people to be erased. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying a structural reset. It could be an EMP, which would not harm a single soul on the planet. Not directly. Or there are many different apocalyptic scenarios. And the other thing, and I think this is Gen X wide, or prevalent at least, and maybe not every single Gen Xer, but we're accused of not caring. We're accused of apathy. And I honestly believe that nobody really cares, right? Nobody really cares. But Gen X is just honest about it. Everyone else wants to pretend they care when they honestly don't give a shit. They're dropping bombs over there in Iran, killing people. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody. None of us. None of us care. Maybe on some political level. The left doesn't like it because the right did it or whatever. You know what I mean? But if the Democrats did it, we're doing it, then they would support it. But since it's the Republicans doing it, they don't support it, and vice versa, all that kind of shit. You know, we have people who would pretend to care because their opponents were the ones who did it. But honestly, nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. If you know, when some flood happens over there overseas and a bunch of people die, you see it on the news and you're like, you know, that's horrible. What's on the next channel? Or some wars going on or something happens overseas. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody really gives a shit, you know? Even the people coming out and protesting and shit, they don't actually care. If they had to sacrifice something, they'll get out for a few minutes because they're not going to work or whatever. They're on welfare or whatever. The reason is they have the time to spend, obviously. They don't have something better to do. So they'll get out and protest and throw some bricks or something. But if they had to sacrifice something out of their lives to achieve their goal, whatever goal that they're saying they're trying to achieve, then they wouldn't do it then. They'll do it just because it's fun and it's the hip thing to do. But they don't really give a shit. They weren't protesting other things 10 years ago, other vastly more important things, because they didn't give a shit. And they don't give a shit now. But it's just a fact that Gen X is upfront with it. Yeah, I don't care. I don't give a shit, right? Now, the people that will get on here and tell me that, oh, no one will hope for an apocalypse, that's insane. Like I'm just saying that and stuff, and I'm just up here bullshitting. Now, say like it would happen just in North Korea, okay? Let's say the apocalypse only happened in North Korea. Some ice age, just North Korea froze over and 90% of the population vanished or whatever. Nobody would give a shit. Nobody would care. Okay. Now, but if an apocalypse, a worldwide apocalypse would affect them, they can see that as, oh, that would affect me. My iPhone wouldn't work. That would hit home. That would be me. I would be affected. Now I care. All right. The loss of life in an apocalypse. Well, millions of people die every day and nobody gives a shit. People are dying right now as I'm speaking. People are dying up there on the streets in Ohio and Kansas and these other places of fentanyl overdose and shit. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. People are dying. People were dying. Not so much anymore, but coming up through trying to cross our border from the south, people were dying in droves. Kids vanishing, being sold into human trafficking and shit. And all these people that care so much, they didn't care about those people. They didn't give a shit. They just cared about their movement, about their migrant movement. They didn't care about the people who were losing their lives because of the migrant movement. And that's not even talking about all the people who died after the migrants got here because of the crimes they committed. And honestly, they don't really care. But when you say something about, there might be, what about an event that would actually affect you? Oh, now I care. Yeah, no, that's insane. What are you talking about? You're crazy. You can't hope for that. Yes, I can. I can, and I literally do. Maybe I am crazy. Maybe I am sitting here off my freaking rocker. Crazy people can't tell when they're crazy, but I live a normal life. I go to work, I come home, I pay my bills, and I talk on YouTube and stuff. I just do normal shit, so I don't think I'm crazy, but maybe I am. I don't know. But anyway, my point is that the resetting back to square one and restarting all of this shit and trying again, that's appealing to me. All right. not the devastation that will be wreaked, not the loss of life, not the horrifying elements. Now, I would risk those, my personal self, I would risk those for the chance to restart, all right, and do it better again, the chance to test myself, the chance to just end all of this bullshit, all of the political lies, all of the thievery, the taxation, the medical bullshit, the drugs, the lies on the internet, the false bullshit all over the internet. Get back to reality. I would suffer and take the risk just to reset back to reality. All right, to a real world. All of this fake internet, AI, trans, weird bullshit can just go to hell. I don't want any part of it. I don't enjoy any of it. I don't like seeing this shit on every channel, every post, everything I see across the internet. That's all. It's just all that bullshit, or some version of that bullshit. Somebody reporting on that bullshit, somebody promoting that bullshit from propaganda, from the media, the lies, the misinformation, the disinformation, it's exhausting. And if it were another situation like my computer, if my computer gets this exhausting, I reset that bitch. I wipe the slate clean. I delete everything off of the hard drive and I start new. I start fresh. And that's just my personality type. That's just how I deal with things. If I come into a problem that's big enough at work when I'm building something and it starts to go wrong, and I see that trying to fix it by maintaining its status, its function, its place in the universe, trying to fix it would take me more time than just ripping it out and starting again. I will rip it out and start again. I would just rip the shit apart and start fresh. And I don't think that there's any kind of madness or lunacy in that line of thought, in that way of behaving. I really don't. Now, as I touched on before, people will throw into that argument the life cost and the cost to humanity and all that. And yes, that would be a factor in many apocalyptic scenarios. But I will say again that all the life lost and all these other things you promote and you support, okay, where is your concern for life there? Where you support immigration and you support bombings and you support war and all this other stuff. Why isn't the loss of life so important then? Because at least I'm honest across the board. I don't give a shit if they bomb Iran. I just don't. I don't care. Bomb Iran. The only thing I care about is that they lied to me. I care about the lies, because if the government tells me they're not going to bomb anybody and then they bomb somebody, now they've lied to me. I don't want a government that lies to me. But you want to bomb Iran? If we got a good reason, bomb Iran. I won't shed a tear. Right? You want to deport people? Deport people. I won't shed a tear. I don't care what happens overseas. I don't care. In these third world countries, they want to destroy each other. Let them destroy each other. If you want to help them destroy each other, help them destroy each other. As long as you're straight up and honest with me. Your constituents, the people who put you in office. We need honesty there. But to say one thing, I just can't be a hypocrite. To be hypocritical about this, I care about human life when A is happening, but when B is happening, I don't give a shit about human life. Or if If the Republicans do this, I'm very concerned about human life. But if the Democrats do the exact same thing, then I don't give a shit about human life. Or vice versa. If the Democrats do it, it's bad. If the Republicans do it, it's A-okay. That kind of shit. So what's the difference if massive amounts of people die in some apocalyptic event, or massive amounts of people die because of fentanyl and immigration and war? What's the damn difference? I don't see the difference. They're just as dead in either scenario. So I would rather see a reset, a structural reset on society and the planet than perpetuate all these other means of death and destruction. That just makes sense to me. Let's start over and try again, and maybe this time we can do it better. And I'll leave you there with that. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you'd like to support the channel by becoming a member, I'll put that link down in the description, or you can head over to the channel page and become a member that way. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can do so by clicking on that super thanks button down there. Or you can head over to Buy Me a Coffee and buy me a cup of coffee. I appreciate those of you who do that. Thank you very much, and I'll leave that link down in the description as well. If you're interested in Gen X gear, we got some pretty cool stuff down there at Redbubble. Gen X Thinks and Gen X branded stuff, t-shirts, coffee mugs, stickers, all kinds of cool stuff over there at Redbubble. But I'll leave that link down in the description for any of you who are interested. If you can't or don't want to support the channel in any of those ways, you can always do so by sharing these videos on your social media. That helps out a hell of a lot, so thank you very much to those of you who do that. I really do appreciate it. If you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Things, please put those down in the comments. Or you can email us, and the email is genxthinks@gmail.com. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.